Hello! Today we're going to talk about some 2006 AB Calc free response questions in preparation for your AP exam. So, what the question asks us is, the graph of the function f, shown above, consists of 6 line segments. Let g be the function given by g of x equals the integral between 0 to x of f of t dt. So, what does this mean? Basically, it means that g of x is the antiderivative of f. So, you can write it as what I've done here, and what the problem also gives you. Therefore, if we know that g of x is the antiderivative of f, then don't we also know that g prime of x equals f of t, and also that g prime prime of x equals f prime of t? Of course. So I'll write that right here for you guys. And g prime prime of x equals f prime of t. Okay? So, the first thing in A asks us to find g of 4. So, very simply, what we can do is, we can just plug in 4 into x. So, right here, g of 4 equals integral between 0 to 4 of f. And what does that mean? That means that you're trying to find the area between 0 to 4 on the graph. So, to find the area, we first find the area of the triangle right here, between 0 to 1, and then the area of the trapezoid right here, between 0 to 4. So how do you find the area of a triangle? Well, just base times height divided by 2. The base here is 1, the height is 2, and we divide that by 2, and we get 1. But we know that's below the x-axis, so it has to be negative. So we put a negative sign right next to it. Now we have to add it to a trapezoid. Well, how do you find the area of a trapezoid? The base times the height, right here. Sorry, the base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times the height. So, find the area of that to be 4. The area of the triangle to be negative 1. And negative 1 plus 4 is 3. Good job. So, we move on. Now as for g prime of 4. Alright, what does g prime of 4 mean? And sorry, I did it down here by accident. G prime of 4 means what I wrote right here for you guys. G prime of x equals f of t. So, if g prime of 4 equals f of 4, then what's f of 4 on the graph? F of 4 is simply 0. Easy. Done. Next, we got g prime prime of 4, which is simply what I did here. G prime prime of x equals f prime of t, sorry. So this simply means the slope between 2 points. So g prime prime of 4 equals the slope of f of t at x equals 4. So at x equals 4, so let's just erase this, all this junk. Okay? So at x equals 4, we have a point 3, 2, right here. Let's get a good color. 3, 2, and 5, negative 2. That's shown here. So the slope between those points is what? Well, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, shown right here. So negative 2 minus 2, all over 5 minus 3. And that gives you what? Negative 2. So, g prime of 4 equals f prime of 4. That's a negative 2. And we're done. Right here. Check. Good job. You're done. Next we have B. Does G have a relative minimum, relative maximum, or neither at x equals 1? Please justify your answer. Okay, so firstly, let's think what a relative minimum or maximum is. Relative minimum is basically where f changes from negative to positive, and a maximum is where it changes from positive to negative. So, you look here on the graph, right here, and it says at x equals 1. So it goes from negative below the x-axis to positive above the x-axis. So, therefore, if f changes from negative to positive, you simply know that there's a minimum at x equals 1. That's all you have to say. That's all you need. And basically you got a 1 out of 1 on that. And you make the AP grader's life easy, and your life easy as well. Okay? Alright, C. C asks that suppose that f is defined for all real numbers x, and is periodic with a period of length 5. The graph above shows 2 periods of f. Given that g of 5 equals 2, find g of 10, and write an equation for the line tangent to the graph of g at x equals 108. Okay. Well, firstly, let's split this problem apart. Let's find g of 10 first. That's what it asks, right? Find g of 10. Well, if we know that each period of f equals 5, then g of 10 equals 4, because the period of f from 0 to 10 equals 2 times g of 5. Okay? That's very simple. Next, they ask for g of 108. Okay? Well, you can split this up between 0 to 105 of f of t dt plus, if you can see this, I'll just write it again, right here. Integral 105 to 108 f of t dt. Well, why do we split it up like that? Well, the period occurs every 5. Therefore, the period equals 105 after 21 times. Okay? So after 21 times, the period has to equal 105. And basically, if we know what g of 5 equals, as shown right here, and they give it to you actually, g of 5 equals 2. So if we know what g of 5 is, and we know that after 21 times the period is 105, what's 21 times 2? Simply 42. They also give you g of 3. Sorry, they don't give it to you. We split it up like this.